Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Dallas Mavericks had a interesting press conference. I don't think I've really heard of too many press conferences like this one. Essentially, what they, from my understanding, listen to other people's content, didn't see the press conference myself because they didn't allow anyone to record. They called about 15 press members of their choosing. From what I understand, a lot of those folks have worked for the Mavericks or have been rather favorable toward the organization, and they brought him in to have a conversation about the Luka Doncic trade, which is literally a day before potentially the last game of their season, tomorrow versus the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento, playing tournament matchup. They're the 10 seed, and I guess the conversation was about just their thoughts. 2 months, I guess, has been removed from the Luka trade. I don't know why they called this press conference. No one was asking them. Nobody wanted this. Nobody asked for this. But they did this, and then from there, they didn't let anybody record, which is really strange. I don't know why they did this, but basically what I understand is that anytime they were asked about the trade, they just simply responded with defense wins championships. Which, if you look at the numbers, from what I understand, their team was actually a better defensive team with Luka on the floor than with our guy AD, whom we really appreciate and love out here in LA. But we're happy to make that trade, and we'll do it again. I guess that's also what they said. They were happy with the trade, and they would do it again. They have no regrets about the trade, was also said to have been said. Since nobody actually got any recording of what was said, we're just going off the word of mouth. You know, to be honest with you, I just think the Dallas Mavericks at this point are not really sure what the hell to do. They've gotten so much backlash, they've lost so much money, and it's been so public, the backlash and the loss of money. It's been said that Luka Doncic, just yesterday, is the #1 selling jersey in the league with the Lakers, which, when you put those two together and you couple that with LeBron James, yeah, that's going to be a perfect storm. Those brands coming together is going to be tremendous. You know what I mean? That goes without saying. It's just a terrible business move. It's a terrible basketball move. And this press conference being, called by them in this fashion just speaks to their decision making and how poor it is. The Quentin Grimes trade, it's all bad. It's just all bad decision making. And so that they're calling press conferences, taking attention away from their basketball team and placing it on a trade that made them all look bad, just speaks to how lost they are as an organization, how lost they are as a front office. They are lost. They're absolutely lost. They don't know what to do. Everything they do is bad, and this is yet another example of that. And it's poor decision making. This is why I have all the confidence in the world that Luka Doncic is a great investment going forward. Not just because your eyes tell you that, but because the assessment of the people who traded him away has been terrible in so many different areas that, of course, this is bad too. This is bad too. They got rid of Luka Doncic because they said he was fat and an alcoholic, and they wanted to move forward because he couldn't play defense with something that could ultimately play defense because they believe defense wins championships. Those minds who said that felt that Anthony Davis was a better investment for their basketball team. When you're talking about health and age, talent, none of that is going to be a good investment in replacement of Luka Doncic. Nobody is going to say that who actually knows what they're doing. And yet, you're talking about a basketball team front office that legitimately thinks that Luka Doncic should be replaced with Anthony Davis and Max Christie, when there's so much else going on that they could have gotten back, rather, in his stead. If you need Anthony Davis, cool. But you don't ask for 2 picks? You only ask for 1? You don't ask for Austin Reeves? You don't even demand one of our best on-ball defenders in Jared Vanderbilt? There's so much that they could have got back in this trade. They could have got us to take back Quentin Grimes if they didn't want that contract so bad for whatever reason. There could have been a million things they could have created for themselves and solutions for themselves in moving Luka Doncic, but instead settled for a package that was significantly less than what he was worth. That in and of itself is a decision that speaks to their decision making being no good. This is a million different things. I walk away from the situation, and it's gonna be some people that look and maybe laugh at what I'm saying, but I'm serious when I say this. Very serious when I say this. I look at the decision making and wonder if people are on drugs. Ownership, Nico Harrison, are they on drugs, yo? Because some of this stuff is so damn backwards. I was listening to someone speak about it this morning. They were essentially saying if there was a list of things that you can do to make yourself look bad, the Dallas Mavericks have checked off all of those things. It gets to a point where it's what are you actually trying to accomplish? I have to believe that they are trying to purposefully sabotage their franchise and distance themselves from their fan base. This feels like team sabotage. You have to start getting into spaces where you start wondering about the team moving to Vegas and the whole conspiracy about them not being able to build a casino in the city of Dallas and them not being happy about that, so them tanking the franchise with the intentions of moving the team somewhere else. Because everything around the numbers and the margins, money-wise, tells you this is a terrible decision. Anything having to do with team building, this was also a terrible decision. And then how you handle the PR circumstances around it. They poured gasoline on the fire. It was just every bit of what not to do. Dallas Mavericks has found a way to do. And as I often say on my channel about different conversations and different subjects, sometimes things are as they seem. People are incompetent and this and that. Other times people are looking for the intended results that come with doing things the wrong way, because it puts them in a position to do certain other things that they want to do. And this feels like that to me. This feels like deliberate and utter sabotage of an entire franchise, a culture of a franchise, fan base of a franchise, the financials of the franchise. It's like they're trying to tear everything good away from the Dallas Mavericks name and brand for whatever intention. But that's what it seems like they were trying to do here. And they use Luka Doncic's the appearance of Luka Doncic's flaws as a spearhead for the collapse and for that sabotage. That's what makes sense. Because nothing else that they've been doing, including this press conference, has made any sense or been to their benefit in any way. Not when you're trying to get people to pay for a basketball team, to watch a basketball team, or trying to get a basketball team to be successful, or trying to have people say good things about your basketball team. They're doing all the opposite things that bring about the opposite result. The timing of this press conference and the fashion that they called it, the only thing that you're welcoming in the way that they did this was distraction to the basketball team, scrutiny on the nature of the press conference and how it was handled, and then furthermore the subject around the press conference, which was reasonable enough to scrutinize in and of itself. The trade itself, and then the way they answered or didn't answer questions, how we have no record of those questions being even asked because no one was allowed to record anything. So the nature that certain things could be taken out of context, even furthermore lied about, because of the nature of nothing being recorded, it's like you're creating problems for yourself. I have to assume at this point that that's the plan. Like, you want to fail and you have things that you want to see take place from that position. That's where I'm at with it. I just think this is sabotage. It's sabotage, and the people of Dallas, they have some things that they really need to consider in regards to supporting that basketball team. They have some things to really consider about what is the future of the Dallas Mavericks in their city. And furthermore, the team that's going to inherit that team, if they do move the team, have to consider if this is the right franchise to bring to your city. And that's where I'm at if I'm Vegas. I don't want that ownership to spearhead the new team in Dallas. I don't want them to have anything to do with this. There are a million different teams of billionaires that would be happy to buy into the NBA. I don't need them coming to Vegas if I'm Vegas. Not with the way they're handling this. Not with the way they're handling this. And so that's something that I don't think they see coming. Is will they be welcome where they want to move the Dallas Mavericks based on how they've sabotaged the Dallas Mavericks? As I often say in different conversations, I don't always just pay attention to how people treat me. I watch how they treat others as well. And you see how that ownership is treating that fan base. And you see how they're treating that city. And you see how their decision making is going, and just the way that they're going about the timing of the things that they're doing. What it is that is a result of their decisions financially. How they cost themselves hundreds of millions of dollars in different spaces of the business itself. You have to wonder if this is really the ownership team that you want to spearhead the NBA in Vegas. And so that's my point of view. If I'm Vegas, I'm like, nah, we can find some other billionaires. We can find some other people who want to be a part of this league, who will be more responsible owners, who will probably gain us more in our situation, because this particular ownership has taken a rather lucrative city to have a team in. I mean, they're right next to the Dallas Cowboys, for goodness sake. This is a good city to make a lot of money if you're a sports team. They took a loyal fan base and completely sabotaged any devotion that they would otherwise have to this organization going forward. And then left themselves with no sense of hope for things getting better anytime soon. Looking as if they're about to spiral into being what the Clippers used to be, what the Cleveland Browns used to be. That's what the Mavericks look like they're about to be. It's like the starting path of some really long and embarrassing ineptitude, man. And so for me, I don't find myself as a Laker fan like other Laker fans saying, "Oh, Nico's the greatest thing in the world." I don't think that. And the narrative about Nico being jealous of Luka the Don, I don't know if I really buy that narrative, to be honest with you. I think this is more about ownership and their intentions. Nico is a guy who could be fired any day. You see how quickly general managers and owners are getting fired. And coaches are being fired left and right. If the owner isn't happy with you, you can get the heck out of here. So I don't buy that Nico has so much power in that organization that he could send out Luka the Don, one of the most lucrative money makers in the NBA and one of the most clutch and accomplished young players in the NBA. I don't think he has the carte blanche to pull the trigger on that or be the determining opinion on that. If he doesn't like Luka the Don, if you're trying to be a respectable organization and you have to choose between the two, Nico's the guy that gets out of here, not Luka. You see what I'm saying? If you're running this business like the business is supposed to be run, and it comes down to your superstar player or your general manager, general managers can be replaced rather easily. Superstar players obviously cannot. So this, in my opinion, those who understand that aspect of the business have to look at ownership and say, you don't know what the hell you're doing if you let Nico Harrison be the determining factor for whether or not your superstar stays on your team and whether or not you get a good return for that superstar. You don't know what you're doing. So I have to assume that is not necessarily what's happening there. I have to assume that. Although ownership has shown a great deal of ineptitude, which is why I wonder if they own drugs out there. But just the same, it's getting to a point where you have to wonder if this is the intended, result. If this is what they're actually aiming for. Another thing that they compared the situation to the Luka Doncic trade was to a trade that took place many years ago between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Golden State Warriors that sent Monte Ellis to Milwaukee and sent Andrew Bogut to the Golden State Warriors. Essentially, what they were saying is, even though Monte was a loved player in Golden State, they traded him for a big piece that ultimately helped spiral them into a championship out there in the Bay Area. I think that severely overstates the value of Monte Ellis as it pertains to how much he meant to the Golden State Warriors. And I remember that era. I was wide awake and an NBA diehard fan at that time. So I remember Monte and how good he was. He was damn good, but that team wasn't going nowhere with him. And overstating the value of Andrew Bogut. He was a hell of a role player and was intricate in the Golden State Warriors winning that championship. But it's not like he was damn Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. Okay, he was an intricate piece, but that statement speaks to the distance that whoever said that has from the reality of what it is that they just did as an organization. Luka Doncic means infinitely more to the Dallas Mavericks than Monte Ellis meant to the Golden State Warriors. Infinitely more. It's not even close. It's not even approaching in the same ballpark. And Monte Ellis was very loved in Golden State, but like they weren't winning anything. Monte Ellis wasn't taking the reins from a player who had just been there for 21 years and won a championship in Dirk Nowitzki. European play, like it's just not the same dynamic in any way. So to compare it to that just further ignites what would be expected to be frustration in those who are invested in the franchise listening to that statement. It's almost like he's trying to gaslight and or piss these people off, which speaks to what it is I've been talking about, which is this is purposely done. All of this is supposed to be to sabotage the Dallas Mavericks, in my opinion. People aren't stumbling into finding ways of doing this. They're doing it on purpose. And so there's some sabotage going on, man. I smell it. I think it's going on. And I'm here to tell y'all that if I'm the Dallas Mavericks, if I'm the fan base specifically, I don't know that I'm supporting this team, but that might trigger what it is that ultimately plays into the hands of those who are doing this just the same. When you think about it, it's like if they want you to distance yourselves from the team so that whatever they're trying to do can take place, then you not buying tickets and you not supporting the team is just exactly the move they want made from all that it is they're doing. So for me, I think there should be an investigation launched into this by the NBA and maybe by outside sources, to be honest with you. Because this doesn't just feel like one move made by a stupid front office. This feels like a series of moves that are meant to tank that business. And one has to wonder why. One has to be concerned that there's something else going on that maybe is a bit more devious than what it is we're expecting to be looking at here. And so that's my point of view on this situation, man. It's easy to think people are stupid, but when people luck up into opportunities to look significantly worse than they're supposed to, you have to start wondering if there's sabotage going on. And that is exactly where I'm at with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm a Laker fan. I benefit greatly. I definitely don't want the trade rescinded. I'm not interested in taking back Anthony Davis and my pick and Max Christie for Luka Doncic. The price on him is significantly higher to my organization than that. And we have no interest in moving that player at all. He is not up for trade. If he were, it would cost you triple that, in my opinion, to get him off of us. Triple that. So that's my take on this situation. I really feel for Dallas Mavericks fans. Just on a sports fan level, this is horrific. I would never want to be in that situation. I'm thankful that I'm not. I don't know what that feels like, but I did go through my own level of frustration when we had Jim Buss and all the stuff that he was doing that we felt like sabotage to our team and felt like stupidity. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of stuff that I thought was kind of weird at the time. I'm glad we're not in that era right now. But this is an entirely different level that I really cannot relate to, man. And I'm glad. I feel for Dallas Mavericks fans. It might be in your best interest to just pick another team, friends, honestly. But it also might be in your best interest to push for a strong investigation into the idea that this could be done purposefully to sabotage your team and ultimately have it taken from you. BDO 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.